Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are almost ready to get that first game underway. Yes, indeed, we get to see Virtus.pro on the verge, the precipice of defeat, elimination, and more. Standing against them is Heroic, a team that has started to rise, looking like a real up-and-coming Danish presence, as if the Danes needed more Counter-Strike players. However, a star has been taken from them. Where he'll go is a different question. Joined by some stars of my own, though, we'll have Sponge and Freiberg to talk through this one. And I think we just jump straight on the Virtus.pro discussion, because you've called them a big stage team. You've called them, they themselves acknowledged in that fantastic video piece from ESL that they don't know if they're going out in groups or if they're lifting a trophy.
Yeah, and I think the biggest storyline in this matchup right here, Alex, is the fact that Heroic beat them in their hometown, or the home country, IEM Katowice, earlier in the year, to knock them out in the group stage. They're going to want revenge, right? And I can't blame them for wanting revenge.
Absolutely.
If they can pull off a win here against a dilapidated Heroic, I suppose, with lacking Valde, then I'll be very impressed, because so far what we've seen out of VP is definitely new stuff. They're bringing a new face, and it looks like they've swapped a few roles around and have new strategies in their back pocket, but it's not clicking just yet. So maybe here on day 2 could be time.
Yeah, and I'm sure someone that affected most of all was of course Taz, you know, this veteran of the Counter-Strike scene in general, but also just the absence of that win. He wanted that Katowice crowd. I don't blame him for wanting that Katowice crowd, but a pro since 2005. And what's so much fun about that is you have some of the younger members of the Danish scene standing against him and removing that home crowd from him in Katowice. Now, removing the Lanxess potentially from him.
Yeah, definitely, and I think you know, going up against a guy like Taz, who in the early days when CS:GO was becoming really popular, he was just that funny guy, right? Always pulling faces. And then now that things have gotten super serious, his demeanor, it just seems like he's always meaning business, especially around that when they lost the major and Las Vegas times. It's like he's just had his eye on that prize of going back to that #1 spot and getting back that title. I remember with you guys when you were obviously the best team in the world, and you guys at events, it looked like there was so much pressure on your shoulders to maintain that. You always look so serious, so ready. I'm sure that that's exactly how Taz has to feel right now. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you still gotta, even though you can joke around, you can still be, I mean, have your faces like everyone does, right? But you still gotta, when you're sitting down and playing, you gotta mean business, right? Yep. And I think VP are one of those teams that, in my opinion, should have the most experience, and they do have a lot of experience. Just game face time, and they just sit down and they just do their play their game, right? Just
because we've got an opportunity here and it's so relevant to the discussion, I have to go a little off topic. You're talking about game face, about taking it seriously, meaning business, but we've also very regularly, especially just yesterday, talked about how having fun, it's a game, it's important to be relaxed. Where on earth do these two intersect? Because it sounds like we're kind of sending mixed messages.
I think it intersects, Alex, when you're winning. All right, and I'm going to have to derail this topic right now.
Why? Because
we're going to head over to the Telestrator, where I have a clip of VP who have basically a strategy that they brought out of their back pocket, right? And this strategy was used in their Cbble game to catch the boys off guard of Immortals. And it's something where you're taking advantage of the protocols that the CTs are using and kind of mixing up and execute. So if we start playing it here, we're going to see jump smokes being thrown from VP from all the way in, I guess you could call this the T-spawn area still, the backyard. And these jump smokes are going to land on B relatively early. Now, the whole idea here is they're doing a deeper wall of smokes. So when you see these smokes land, it's not the original ones that used to land covering off the statue. If we can pause it here. We're going to see the smoke wall come across, and it's going to block off this area, and Molotov is going to come out to clear the close areas and push away any CTs, and they're going to jump down and they're going to push along the lane. Now, normally what you see happen here is the CTs are going to do one or two things. They're either going to stay in front of the smokes and fight, and Bolts is in a committed area. So Henny is going to push up, he is going to help, and he's going to fight against the Ts who are going to be jumping out platform. But what we actually see happen here is, if we play out the clip, is VP are going to follow that nice little arrow that I drew. They're going to actually jump away from the CTs, and they're going to push around behind. You can see another player right now still coming through, and this is the theory side of Counter-Strike for Immortals coming into play. They're all in front of the smokes. They all want to fight. They don't want to give them that site territory, but VP have actually chosen to push around behind, close down the distance, get in their face and do something. So now they have so many different angles that they had to watch. They had to be looking towards platform, they had to worry about behind them. Yeah. There was too many angles, and they just got mauled.
Absolutely, they did. Yeah. What stood out to you, Adam, about that? I mean, that is something new, right? You've brought something new. In fact, NIP did the same thing. You brought something new to Cbble.
Yeah, I mean, we also had our kind of wall smokes on B. And I think that what makes that strat even better was that VP, they had 2 Mach 10s even. So they even got, like, instead of getting the long distance duels with the Mach 10 where they jump out and have to take duels towards site, the statue, they, as Sponge said, they came around them and came in super close combat. You saw Neo just walking in the small angle there behind the side, where he was like, that's a Mac 10 favored duel, right?
100%.
So I think that was just great usage of a tactic when they had specific weapons. So they had 2 Mac 10s and they just pushed around. Perfect executed by VP.
Perfectly executed, and that's the kind of structure that Heroic as well have been known for. It's not a team that we necessarily praise for the most outstanding aim, as some of the up-and-coming rosters are just, you know, a bunch of aim. It is in fact a bit more coordination surrounding those Danes, and we're looking forward to seeing what they can do with their new man. You can see his name, of course, ES Tag. You
so I asked him. He said he said it doesn't really matter as long as we don't call him SA Tag. So like we can just call him S Tag.
S Tag, maybe even Tag if time goes on.
Big Taggy.
Big Tag.
Tag Dog.
Tag Dog. That's what I want to do. And in fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and bring up that Betway tag, because we have got the odds for us, and given VP quite a significant edge in this one. I guess
the name, you know, it has a lot of stock in it, right? So you're always going to be going and leaning to them being the favorites in this kind of game. But they're reasonable.
That's pretty. Like, I mean, if I was a betting man, Heroic did it once in Katowice.
Yeah.
Best of one. Anything can happen. I'm worried to see exactly what goes down with VP and their map veto as well. We mentioned before, Adam, right? Cobble, Mirage is where Virtus.pro is most at home, most comfortable. What else do we add to that pile as we're going to be jumping into a best of one? I mean, what can they roll?
I mean, VP is a team that likes to play Nuke, but I don't think they would like to play Nuke against a Danish team.
Right.
Danes are pretty used to playing Nuke as well. I'm guessing that we're going to see some kind of... I'm thinking VP are leaning towards Mirage. That's what I'm guessing, because I know that Heroic also has been one of the better teams on Cbble. I know that VP, they played Cbble yesterday, and it's not always fun to play a map on which you lost. I mean, they did lose Mirage as well. It's 2 maps they've already lost, but it's probably their comfort zone maps anyway. So they probably want to go back. They probably realize what they've been doing wrong. They have time to talk about it, and they can come in today against Heroic and hopefully play that and get
While we were listening to Snacks in that interview earlier with Stunner, he was saying that they lost all those like clutch situations, right? And that's always going to impact you in that way. But so they, like you said, VP banned out Nuke. I know you said that Danish teams, you want to play Nuke against them, but VP have been known for spanking the hell out of Astralis on Nuke. So they do have the one up on those boys. But it is going to end up on Cbble. And here I fear that, you know, hopefully VP haven't blown their wad too early on their strategies on this map.
Potentially. I mean,
because we saw a lot of stuff.
Did we see a lot of stuff, or did we see one execute?
No, there was quite a few different variations, and they were the one round which was pivotal, where Bolts pushed up behind them from A and killed a lot of them with their pants down, was another execute, right? So if they want to play execute heavy CS and Heroic know how to counter that, it could be a rough ride.
I think VP is one of those teams that, I mean, they've been playing Cbble for such a long time. They could just pull out strats that they've been doing for like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So I think VP on Cbble is a comfort zone map. They could they'll learn to adapt into the map, kind of like we talked about how Navi was on train yesterday, where they know how to play. That's like kind of VP that's Cbble for them.
I mean, is there much more to be said about Heroic other than, of course, the loss of Valde? Is there anything else that stands out to you when you're talking about the Danes, or is it simply just a question of they have got a surprising amount of synergy team play for a team that is climbing through the second tier?
I think they have really good afterplan and like mid-round decision making on the T side when they take areas of the map. That does come down to the theory and actually doing the homework and getting your in-game leader to tell the players what you need to do. But we do need to address players like Yugi, right? Like he's an AWPer in the Danish scene who it looks like he's on the way up. He's pretty exciting to watch. Whether he can be consistent or not as a flashy AWPer, that's another question, and still very young. I think that's something for this team that you need to know, is that all these guys are very young in this team, besides Snappy, who's been around for as long as the rest of us.
Yeah.
And he's the kind of and Modi as well.
Yeah, I was also going to mention Modi, because Modi has been in the tier 1 teams. Back in 1.6, he played with Fnatic and SK. I'm pretty sure he both played with them. So he got experience. I mean, playing with a player like Yugi, he's a young player coming up and gonna play against these like VP, probably a team that he has been watching growing up and learning how to play CS, right? So I think a player like Modi can really calm Yugi down, getting him comfortable, saying like it's nothing special. This is just another game, right? So I'm really expecting Heroic to put up a good fight against VP here.
You can see, of course, as well, just in that little ticker, you can see that he was the most dominant player, highest rating, highest ADR, and the most sniper kills. I mean, this is just kind of proof that this is a very scary player.
Well, that means it could be exciting in this context, because we did see VP yesterday want to really go for those double ops on the CT side, Pasha towards B and Snacks towards A. So we could see a lot of AWP duels, which are always fun.
Yeah, and another interesting discussion topic is Virtus.pro's regular changing of the in-game leader, Freiburg. Is this, just very briefly, just while I have you, is this something that makes understanding, calling what they're doing and how their gameplay is going to be, predicting them, as a better word, more difficult? Because now it's Snacks. Snacks has been leading them for the last 3 months.
yeah, definitely. I mean, all players have different ways of looking at CS. No matter how long you've been playing together, you always have a different way of looking at CS, right? And I'm pretty sure that Snax is kind of more a bit of a random caller from what I've known. Like he's the kind of guy, like, you know, he's a hard player to play against, and now he's kind of to lead his team to be that team. That's gonna be like the whole team's gonna be hard to play against. So I'm really expecting VP to pull out better T sides than what we've seen from them. Ooh, yesterday against
Plow, almost.
I'm hoping to see the Plow again. I mean, I've been missing VP. VP has always been for me one of those really entertaining teams to both play against and both watch when they're playing their A game. So I'm really hoping and wishing for VP to step up their game now.
Okay, well, Freiburg wants to see VP on top form. Not necessarily for the win, of course. Heroic putting up their fight as well, but we're going to go ahead and introduce the voices of this brawl. One map of Counter-Strike and Virtus Pro, a team that have a corner in the Lanxess dedicated to them, could not make it to the arena, and none other than Heroic could be thrown that knockout blow twice. Let's have a little look, though. It's Anders and Semler guiding you through the action.
Well, thank you very much, Alex. And yes, it would be absolutely criminal, wouldn't it, if Virtus Pro didn't make it in? I feel like that just wouldn't be okay. But at the same time, if they can't really play up to the level that they're supposed to, then, you know, this is what happens. So I don't know. I think this is going to be a tough game either way.
I think it's one of my favorite moments in CS history is when we had Cologne 2015, and there was the entire Virtus Pro cheering section that was just going ballistic the entire time through.
Yeah.
So sick. It was amazing. Imagine if they don't actually make it out of the groups. We don't get to see that again.
Yeah, that would be a real shame, I think. But I mean, that is what could ultimately happen here. Best of one. They lost the first 2 games the first day yesterday. Now it's day 2 of ESL One Cologne 2017. And honestly, at this point, I don't even know what to make of it. Virtus Pro, they seem to have those moments where they sort of look like, all right, they know what they're doing. And then it's just not enough. I'm going to go with VP. Listen, for historic reasons, I think they're going to win this game. I think I actually really like Heroic. I think they're an interesting team, and as they're saying, a lot of young talent on this lineup, maybe outside of Snappy and Modi, who've been around for a long time. The other 3 players definitely new to the game and have actually accumulated a lot of skill in a very short time, which is quite impressive. But yeah, Virtus Pro have a history of showing up when it matters. I think they're going to do it today as well.
That's the real benefit of having a player like Modi on your roster, a guy with years and years of experience playing in tournaments, competing against the best. That's just going to be like Nitro, right? Or just, you know, a straight-up speed course in how to effectively play competitive CS. Yeah. At least you get that primer right out the gate. And so Modi right now is worth his weight in gold when it comes to Heroic and these new players for sure. The Padawan, well, the Padawans. What is it again? The Masters, the Mentor?
Something like that.
He's the graybeard sitting there. Allow me to explain how to entry A.
Yeah, and Modi seems to have calmed down, as I think, a bit as a person, which is good, because otherwise I think he'd be an absolutely terrible mentor. Like he had a reputation in the Swedish scene, and even outside of that, for being quite an angry person when things weren't working out so well. It seems like that's been moderated a bit, maybe because he's been outside of the Swedish scene for a little bit, you know.
Well, do you think, like, Bucharest, remember Bucharest 2013? That whole fiasco, not shaking Nip's hands, all that sort of stuff. I mean, I wonder if that was like a reality check at that point, just the level of malevolence, of hate that they got for not doing that. Yeah,
that was way overblown. That was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life. But but apart from that, yeah, I mean, I think it's also just, you know, if you're Modi and you used to play with, you know, some of the best in Sweden back in 1.6, and then you know, you go on Global Offensive and it turns out, you know, the rumor that you're maybe a bit of a hothead, or I think I'm not even sure that's necessarily Modi's problem. I think Modi's problem is always just that he was very critical, and some people will be fine with that, and other people will be like, well, if you're going to criticize me, I don't want to play with you anymore, which I think is not necessarily a good attitude to have, actually. But, you know, whatever happens, it led to Modi being, you know, a bit teamless for a while and didn't really know what to do. Now he's found some young players, and maybe that puts some perspective in his mind as well, that, you know, he's found a new way to talk to people, whatever it is. It seems to be working out better anyway.
That could be a way, right? When you get to actually play your system, right? You're like, right, I don't have any other veterans that I have to deal with here to argue with on how they're going to play the game, whatever. I'm going to have these fresh new players who I just get to form in my
And just because we're on the topic anyway, I mean, Modi's early Global Offensive career looked, I mean, apart from the fact that he was having a hard time finding a team to sort of play with, it also just didn't look good because he didn't look good as a player.
True.
And lately, we've had some pretty big games from him where he's really stepped it up. So that's kind of exciting. We did see Virtus Pro obviously standing up and talking, and I think that that tells you something about the gravity of this game from their point of view as well. They want to make damn sure they don't screw anything up here. I mean, some of these players on Heroic, we talked about Muddy, but Nico and Yugi they are very hard-hitting players. And they have that, should we say, young man's confidence. They are out of control sometimes. Like, and you know, that's hard to play against. Virtus.pro, that's where they've got to rely on the experience and they've got to play, hopefully, a slow style of Counter-Strike that can just sort of shut down that kind of talent. Because
it's the invincibility of youth. And
yeah,
that's it. You know, they haven't realized that they're mortal yet. They haven't gotten slapped around like Fnatic, for example, or most of the god tier teams. Once they've started to lose, it's very difficult for them to come back into it, just because all of a sudden they know they can lose now. They're not invincible. And I think that's, personally, I know we're not talking about Fnatic right now, but I think that's a big reason why Fnatic are not able to compete right now at the same level as they have in the past. They have to figure out how to start winning again, get that invincible confidence back that players like Yugi will have coming into this.
Actually, yeah, and you know, Counter-Strike, you know, is confidence in that sense. Actually, Henry was showing me a hilarious old interview with a guy from the British show scene called Critical. And so already back then he was saying, like, yeah, you know, if you're not confident, you're not going to be able to play Counter-Strike. You know, I think that's pretty accurate. So yeah, definitely something to that. Virtus.pro, I mean, you look at the lineup, you look at the players, you look at the experience and everything they've got. There's no reason they shouldn't be confident. I just think they're temporarily out of it. I think there's every chance Virtus.pro could come back and play one hell of a tournament, but you need to sort of snap out of whatever funk they've fallen into, because this is serious business right now. For one thing, the major is right around the corner as well, so you don't want to start, you know, just losing all of your confidence, losing everything here. You want to warm up, you want to get ready, you want to make this really count. We are going to head into the game now. Virtus.pro starting on the terrorist side, Heroic on the CT side. This is ESL One Cologne 2017, day 2. We are still in the group stage, but this is an elimination match.
Anders, look at how much utility is here. 4 players have bought full nades on VP. This is unheard of. Unheard of. And already, it looks like we're just going to have a full execute onto the A site in the pistol round here for Virtus.pro.
And they're just going to throw in all their grenades, exploding Muddy. So the first investment has certainly paid off, but Nico did land a headshot in the meantime, so it is still a bit of a fight here. Yugi looking to open up. In fact, it's still Nico taking the kills. 3 of them on his side, and now Virtus.pro shut down for the moment here. 2 versus 4, you can tell. Heroic aren't quite sure where this push is coming from, but as they find Neo, Snappy getting the kill. It's all on Snacks in a 1-on-3, and he's locked in.
At least he has a minute left to play with, right? He has a little bit of time to act, but he's eventually going to get a bullet to the face. And I think, Anders, the key issue here is that Pasha got picked off so early in drop. He wasn't able to get anything. He actually went and started pressuring drop before the nades even started raining in on the A side, it looked like. Pasha perhaps jumped the gun there, because I think he's supposed to be the one who's catching them. As soon as those nades come in, the rotation is going to be coming through from Heroic through Connector, and I think that's when Pasha is supposed to be that distraction, along with the collapse from A into Connector to hopefully just crush or pinch in on the defense there. You lose Pasha, you lose half of that.
That's a quad kill from Nico as well in the pistol round, so
let's go.
We did get a chance to mention him, and he steps right up to the plate. It's a bit of a bump in the road for Virtus.pro, not the end of the world by any means. Just means they don't have a bomb plant. They have bought into this round, and they've got at least 1 deagle on Pasha. I kind of like that, because that means they could do both things, right? They have the Tech 9s for when they want to rush, and they can go ham and just run into a bomb site, but they can also just lose Pasha to linger around and sort of lurk his way in with a deagle and try and pick someone off with a headshot. So they have both options in a round like this.
We'll see. I mean, they're spread. They're expecting...
Oh, Taz going to smoke from T-spawn, in fact.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is going to be interesting.
The newfangled ones, yep. Jump straight over to the B side. His teammates are already ready and waiting in drop and on plateau with that bomb. Now we have to see. They've actually managed to get some information, at least from Snacks. He knows the drop is clear. And this sets it up here for that push onto B. Although, as I say that, Madi gets the flank, shoots Neo in the back.
Yeah. Tag picking up a kill as well. Bialy did take down a player in Nico, so now they're on the site. That smoke did allow them to cross without getting shut down immediately. The S-Tag still picks up the kill on Pasha, and that will leave Bialy and Taz. They've got the bomb down, sure, but they're not in a great position. Taz doesn't have the deagle, unfortunately, up on that plateau. Otherwise, that would be a much more interesting position. Bialy has to stay alive, and he can't do it. S-Tag finding the 3rd kill, leaving Taz P250 sniping away long range. He needs headshots, and they're just not going to come in his favor. So bomb plant and 2 kills. Decent.
Kind of like a break-even sort of situation.
Yeah, but it would have been great if they could have had Pasha with a deagle up there on the plateau instead.
What was fun, Blay actually tweeted out earlier that apparently like 81% of the follow-up rounds for pistols have been won so far. Like, teams have gotten significantly better at dealing with anti-ecos, dealing with these force buys in the follow-up. So, interesting thing to note there. Just throwing it out there. Shout outs to Blay. Sad he couldn't be here. But, well, you know, it kind of goes according to plan there for Heroic. They keep 3 players alive. They'll keep building that economy. They save the expensive stuff at least. And so now we have a pretty reasonable buy from them. The 3 rifles, 4 if you count the FAMAS. Don't really want to count the FAMAS. Instead, I would rather see a UMP with Nico. But hey, whatever. Go for the FAMAS.
It's definitely been picked up more for FAMAS since the UMP nerf. And it's hard to determine if that's just placebo or if it really works. Yeah, I mean, some players seem to make really good use of the FAMAS and really have a high impact with it, and some definitely don't. So it's kind of hard to say exactly if it's worth it or not. Third round here, there's a deagle on Taz and a couple of upgraded pistols on Virtus Pro, but apart from that, it should be an easy ride here for Heroic. Have to imagine that they don't run into too much trouble. So a good start for the Danish side, and Yugi will open up with a kill. It's a good return, at least from Bialy. They're going to steal away that M4. Nico holding very close with the FAMAS and could have almost got shut down.
Wow, that was so close. And now Nico can trade the FAMAS for the M4. Perfect. Nicely done here for Heroic. 3-0 lead, fairly comfortable. And now they have the money on VP to go for the buy. As expected, Pasha's going to be able to get that AWP fairly quickly. I think Bialy was the one to drop it for him. So that'll leave Bialy pretty limited in his buy. He's light on the nades, but all things considered here, this could get interesting for Virtus Pro. I'm going to be curious to see what Pasha has planned, and he's going to go and camp outside of T-spawn towards A. So if there's going to be any kind of aggression coming in here from Heroic, Pasha, he's banking on that. He's ready for it.
Yeah, and you have the time in a round like this to go for it. So there's no reason to lose to anyone throwing any kind of shenanigans that way.
It really feels like that's kind of fallen out of vogue, though. The whole peak from CT on A through A long, right, through the apartments there. It just feels like CTs very rarely actually go for that opening gambit.
Yeah. Oh, I think they were actually maybe trying to do boost then, but got caught in the middle of it. They were both moving up at the same time, so bit of damage put into Bialy. Yugi waiting for a target on that side. At least Virtus Pro managed to take over the whole danger area, but Modi, there's the boost that we're talking about. I actually thought they would cancel that as soon as they got discovered, but instead they managed to boost their way up and finish off Bialy. That's got to be frustrating for Virtus Pro. They're starting to gravitate towards the B side, leaving on the other side Neo. So if Neo could be very successful here, he's going to set up a smoke in a second. If he can get that smoke in and buy time and maybe keep 3 players on the A bomb side, that's big news, but otherwise, this is going to be tricky. And now 30 seconds left, and they're making their way back towards drop. I don't know about this, Virtus Pro. This is very little time. 25 on the clock.
Seconds. Like, what is this? Nico with the double spray. They're so pressed for time here, Virtus Pro. They just don't have any room for error, and Nico getting that double pretty much snuffs it. Modi steps in and annihilates Pasha with that UMP, and Snappy going to be able to pick up the last kill. That was Neo trying to flank over on the A site. Just leaving themselves so little room for error there, Virtus Pro. One thing had to go wrong for it all to stumble and fall apart, and sure enough, Heroic did not miss the chance. And we're going to get the replay right here. This is the key moment. Boom. Drops the bomb, no less. At that point, Nico's like, great. They have so little time to maneuver. We've got this in the bag.
There was some strange stuff that happened there. Like, Virtus Pro, it looked to me like they wanted to push into B long, and a smoke went up at around 30 seconds, and that was just really good timing for Heroic. Very hard for Virtus Pro to do anything about. Then they sort of cancelled and went down drop instead. But I think at that point, when you only have 25 seconds, you can't really be improvising, you know, a plan then. It has to be more well thought out than that from the beginning. 4 rounds in favor of Heroic, and remember they're playing on the CT side as well, so this is actually very good news. And now the UMPs are getting a couple of kills there on Snappy. Pasha in a 1 versus 5, and he's at least going to get a headshot. That'll be the end of it. 5-0 in favor of the Danish side.
Now, what a fantastic start here for Heroic. 5 rounds, CT side versus Virtus Pro. But you can never really count Virtus Pro out of a fight. Again, we've talked about this in the past. Just so much experience on this roster. They've been together for so long. that they're always a threat. They're never actually out of it here. So it's still early days. We're only in the first third, moving into the second of this first half, and already pressure over here towards underpass. Yugi holding very close with the AWP, decides to back off those flashes, giving him cold feet.
Classic boost coming out here from the VP side. Counter grenades are coming in for the potential peak, and they're going to be trying to fall back, but S-Tag will pick up the 1 kill, and following up, Bialy goes down as well. That's a huge loss to Virtus.pro, who were obviously, they were anticipating that kind of a push. They just weren't ready for it after all. Modi gets 1, and a great headshot taking down Snax. Neo in a 1 versus 5. This is very troubling what's happening to Virtus.pro right now.
This is getting picked off one after another. They're just getting picked off one after another, and that's brutal. This is the power of having that AK on the CT side as well. Modi, it's a perfect spot for him. That's the kind of duel you want to take, because you're going to be able to just gun down your opponent, no problem at all. And this, I mean, the aggression on Plateau, right? They aren't going A long, they aren't getting aggressive A long. Instead, they're getting timed flashes in from their teammates to peek and take the fight. And so it looks like we're finally going to have that timeout coming through, trying to see who's actually doing any of the talking here on Virtus.pro's side. It looks like it's Cuban right now trying to rally the troops. Wonder what he's picked up on.
I mean, at this point, I'm kind of shocked that they've played 6 rounds, Virtus.pro, and I mean, really, apart from maybe the pistol, they haven't gone for like just the crunch on B. Get 2 drop, get 3 plateau, then, you know, all you need is 1 kill on that B bomb side and it falls, you know. Kill the guy and drop, kill the guy on site, and everything else goes to hell if you're on the CT side. Do
you think it's, I mean, are they overcomplicating things, Virtus.pro? Are they trying to change up you know, try new strats? I mean, it's a bit of a stretch. It's been said in the past that Virtus.pro, it's almost good, it's almost better for them to have a warm-up event so that they can get rolling for the next big one. But it would be a bit odd to just be using these live matches here to just test things out for the major coming up next week.
No, this is the big one. Like, they can't afford to do this. There's a simple strategy. Flashing in, and there's finally the crunch on B that we were just discussing. S-Tag here is in so much trouble on the stairwell, but he's doing an excellent job getting 2 kills, and Nico working it out as well. Another headshot comes in from Nico, leaving Taz 1 versus 3, and he's going to get shut down, making it the triple kill. 7-0. That's what they need to do. Nico right now is 12-1-2 against Virtus.pro on LAN. That's definitely something. Neo has not got a kill yet. Snax has got 1 kill.
Yeah.
Right now, Nico has more kills than all of Virtus.pro combined. That's literally what's happening. Numerically, what's happening, Samla.
We've seen... Mathematically?
Yeah.
It's all there. I just picture you with that GIF, you know, where you have like the sines and cosines and everything kind of floating around, like 12 kills, more the kills than all of VP. Well, here we go. This is a way to change things up. Just go for the straight up YOLO Tech 9 rush onto the B site. You have everything. You get that smoke wall down in good time. Fresh smoke goes down. It's going to allow for the bomb plant to happen here in just a moment. And, well, Heroic, I like it. They're playing very passively. Just, yeah, some shots through the smoke, waiting for somebody on VP to show themselves. They know they've got the time. They have 5 kits.
Yeah, there's a flank from Snax, though. This could get very interesting. P250's got to be careful he doesn't make too much noise. He's very close at the moment. Tries to get the 1, goes for the second. A great double kill from Snax. That's hugely important. They still stand a chance to win the round as Neo will get the first kill of the game for himself, picking up 1. Yuki with the AWP, and they're going to lose the next player. So now it's all on Neo. 1 versus 2, and he goes down to Yugi. Just finding the angle, and they will have the time for the defuse as well, so making it exceedingly close here, Virtus.pro. That might have been one of the best rounds yet for them, and it still wasn't good enough here.
And like as usual, it's around with pistols. When a team is struggling with rifles, it's just like, just get the pistols, go for the half-buy, run out there.
But I mean, so this round, but the previous one too, the crunch and B was just fine. There was, I mean, obviously, S-Tag, when he was holding on the stairwell, normally there'd be a Molotov thrown in that position. And that's also why I was trying to point out he was supposedly not in a good position, but he fought his way out with a double kill, so that sort of crushed that push for Virtus.pro. But I still think the idea is just fine.
That's the big thing, is that we're seeing a lot of individual plays here for Heroic. A lot of double kills coming in key positions. Modi with his hold on connector, S-Tag in the last round on Plateau, where it's just a very strong individual level coming in here from Heroic. It really does feel like, you know, well, That is one of the advantages that rarely gets mentioned. It's just the fact that when you're the team who has nothing to lose, it's Virtus.pro playing not to lose right now. They're the team that everybody expects to just crush Heroic and move on. And that can get in your head sometimes.
At least something has been working out here. They've got 2 of the opening kills, and Yugi goes down as well, so Snappy and S-Tag are left, and there should be absolutely no problem here. Pasha landing some great AWP shots, and S-Tag has to just back off. They've got an enormous amount of money on the Heroic side, so theoretically, he could have tried to just look for exit kills just to make life really hard on Virtus.pro, but in a 1 versus 4, it might not even be worth it, so... Oh.
Yeah, that was cutting it a bit fine there. S-Tag just barely backing off. There's the repeak. Peta won that duel. Yeah, nicely done there by Neo. But now comes the reset.
It's the first round for Virtus.pro.
Yep,
this is where you really need to take a deep breath if you're on the VP side. I think it was actually Bialy opening up the last round and getting the first kill. So
well, they're all fairly even on VP. It's all between 3 and 4 frags. So yeah, not looking pretty, as usual, pretty balanced, but we need Snacks to start doing more here. He's had 9 rounds of warm-up. We're into the 10th round. It's 8-1, and it's all or nothing now. So if they lose this round VP, their economy is going to be in shambles. And so here we go. There's a flash. Perfect timing. Already through, putting the pressure on. Yugi's going to be in a world of hurt, and sure enough, Neo leading the charge, finds the first headshot. Nico tries to get the double spray, but it's not going to be good enough. And a man advantage now for Virtus.pro with the bomb about to be planted on the B site.
Snacks is lingering behind Modi. Gonna go for the fight, but Snacks is ready for it. And that means the flank is gone, and these 2 people in drop are gonna have a really hard time getting out onto the bomb site, especially because Snacks is still waiting behind them, and they know it too. There's Snacks shooting down Snappy, and as Tag, he must have realized, and indeed Snacks will pick up the 3rd kill of the round. Virtus.pro in trouble, but not yet done. 2nd round for them, starting to dig into the Danish economy and slowly making it work here.
Starting to bounce back a little bit. Now the pressure is going to start shifting over onto Heroic side. You get 8 rounds in a row. You definitely want to be finishing with a few more than that. You do not want to let Virtus.pro get back up to 7. You'll be in a bit of a tight spot if you do. This is still a T-sided map, though. So 8 rounds is very good work here for the first half on Heroic side. They just need to get up into double digits. Then they can start probably breathing a little bit and start feeling good about themselves. Taz, nobody saw that. The full flash on himself.
Yeah, I think luckily no one was there to see it on the other side. Otherwise, that could have been a bit of an issue.
Awkward, especially because they have the bomb over there. Although it is rotating back. So they're going to change it up. I mean, S-Tag is still alive over here on the A site, and he's got Yugi backing him up at connector.
More than a minute still.
And it's Bialy playing, who's just kind of taking his time over here in connector. Fairly spread out, although Yugi can rotate over quickly towards connector to back up Madi. It's still only 2 guys holding solid on the B site right now, and it looks like that's where VP will wind up. That bomb and 3 players over on Plateau. 50 seconds left in the round. It's still with 2 flankers over towards A here for Virtus.pro.
Yeah, so these guys are going to get set up smokes that will very heavily indicate to Heroic that this is going to be an A push, and that's quite a big commitment for Virtus.pro as well to use 2 players over here. There's 1 for the balcony and 1 for the door, but Yugi will pick up the 1 kill. You see Modi's not even rotating out. Yugi with the 2nd one too, shutting down just both these flanks, and now the idea of the A push is just gone, especially when they see Snacks here. He's going to open up at least and get a kill on S-Tag, so that's a pretty good start. We'll see if they can continue. Bialy looking for a bit more. Muddy will shut down 1, and Nico with the next kill. And Pasha with 10 seconds and a 1-on-3. There's no way he's going to be able to win this.
And unfortunately for him, he's got no way out. Because, ta-da, surprise, Snappy rotated through the B halls to get that flank on the plateau.
That's... these smokes that land behind Yugi, he obviously hears it and obviously calls it out. When he gets those 2 kills and nothing else happens, he's like, don't rotate anyone, like, just stay where you are. That's gotta be quite upsetting.
Well, Virtus.pro, they still have the money to buy AKs, nades, the whole kit and caboodle here. But 4 players alive on the B site. Heroic really trying to bank on VP, going for some kind of desperation play. We're in the 12th round. Heroic lead 9-2. And Heroic looked like they were really expecting Virtus.pro to try and pull a very quick execute onto the B site. Let's see. I mean, that's still an option here for Virtus.pro. They've got the smokes and the nades going out onto that B site now.
And they're going to be down, drop quick. Modi's obviously hearing all of this. I'm trying to see if he can maybe just figure out how many footsteps are on the other side. It's Yugi to pick up 1 kill. Snacks with a reply. Yugi just trying to fall back. No scope comes in. And that drops the bomb as well. Virtus.pro, they're just getting crushed in this round. S-Tag will pick up 1 more. That leaves Pasha and Neo there on opposite sides of the map with the bomb in between them. Yuki finding 1 more kill for the triple. And that will leave Pasha 1 versus 4 up on the plateau. Yugi, there's the final one coming in. A quad kill for him. Exceptional AWPing coming out here. There's a reason why Heroic wanted him on this team and why they fought so hard to get him. And it's definitely paying off right now.
Dude, they're just winning all the duels right now. Virtus.pro, they cannot seem to pick one up. And the key one there would be Snacks and Drop. Needs to win that duel when he's getting pushed by the CT player, and yet somehow that doesn't happen. And these are the kind of key fights that Virtus.pro have been losing so far in this first half. They've had the executes, they've been moving in together as a unit, but once again, when it comes to the actual fighting, the headshots, they aren't able to connect. Something's going wrong here for Virtus.pro. Or very right for Heroic. I mean, there's a lot of great individual performances so far we've seen from Heroic where guys are getting multi-kills, where they should be getting trade 1-for-1.
Yeah, but I feel like so many of these positions can be solved with Virtus.pro just not messing anything up. That's an interesting way to get a peek into the window, because normally just be your face showing. The fact that they made that little boost, I kind of like that. Yugi still fighting strong here towards the middle of the map, and Pasha goes down at the end. It's Snappy, S-Tag, and Nico to close it out.
Doing that with the bomb?
Yeah, I think...
It's like...
The thing is, some of these positions where Heroic do get the multi-kills, I don't understand why they aren't Molotov then grenaded out, you know? It's like... Virtus.pro just... tumbling a bit right now.
Yeah, but that's... I mean, the Molotovs, yeah, but like going for a risky peek like that with the bomb as well, I mean, the bomb falls forward if you die. They just, like, here, Heroic, take the bomb. It's all good. Now you guys get to basically set up, because you know we have to come here eventually.
Well, I think what they wanted to, I think they were going for the mid-drop A crunch. Like, they wanted to get everyone in, so they were like, whatever, we're just all going to be going anyway. But it's just, there's not very much grenade usage, and you can, I mean, every time you see a Heroic highlight here, none of them have to dodge any smoke, none of them are standing in fire and shooting, none of them are flashed at any point. They are just fighting Virtus.pro, and they're good enough to do it. Like but that's not how it's supposed to work. You know, if you're on the CT side, part of the trouble is half the time you're going to have flashbangs in your eyes. So, you know, it's not so easy. But it is pretty straightforward here from Heroic. Snatch will at least find a kill on 1, and that's in drop, and that's not a bad way to get started. S-Tag shooting through and reloading right in the face of Pasha. Can he get the kill? Not quite. That's a nice attempt from Pasha, but now instead Snappy comes in with a great spray. That might just clear out the round.
Yeah, that's pretty much going to end it here. Once again with the pistols, it looked promising there for a second when the kill on Madi came through. Neo and Taz still alive, working together as a duo, but not for long. Neo is snuffed. And Taz, last man alive here with 30 seconds. Has to hope that somebody rotates off of the A site. And that is kind of... No, never mind. There's a second man following up on Connector. There's just no way.
What is up with the, you know, 13-2, 12-3 type finishes that we've had throughout this whole tournament so far? It just seems like... And then we have ridiculous comebacks later, but...
Exactly.
But it seems to just start off really weird.
What's insane is that they're doing this on the CT side here, Heroic.
Yeah, that's what really worries me.
Then you get a strong pistol going into the second half. You really throw something at Virtus.pro, and you're just so close. You're within striking distance. But what we've also noticed, Anders, is that teams tend to lack like the nerves, the confidence to just close the game, to just shatter their opponents. And so that is something where Heroic might start to get nervous. As soon as they start getting close to that finish line, that's where Virtus.pro can start to get that grind on. But the big buy coming through once again. Pasha has not got the AWP this time. Instead, it's been handed over to Snacks. And we'll see. 15th round, last round of this first half. VP, they got to make some magic happen here. If they let it go up to 13-2 at the end of the first half for Heroic, this is going to be disastrous.
Well, we'll find out. The bomb is over by A-Long instead. It could be another split play with Pasha and Bialy just trying to see if they can crunch Modi.
Yeah.
But they need that entry frag. Right now, Snappy's down towards middle of position that, again, in terms of grenades, should be checked. Hard checked with the Molotov, you know? and they have the grenades, so there's no good reason why not to use them. But if they ignore Snappy and he gets the first kill, then that will slow down that part of the push. In fact, they're not even going to go for the split anymore. They rotated Bialy back. I'm not sure what made them change their mind, but Pash just looking. He's not the one with the grenade. If he just peeks at blank, then Moddy's going to be there for the crossfire. They need the grenade.
Yeah, did he see the shot? Did he see him get over there? He seems pretty convinced that there's going to be somebody around that corner. Just waiting to see. Moddy is here to draw attention, though. And there it is, sure enough. Doesn't even need the help. Hits the headshot clean. Gets the follow-up as well. Moddy, this is what I'm talking about. Another double kill for him. And then Yugi chimes in as well.
Oh, nice shot from Yugi to follow it up there. 10 seconds left. And Snacks in a 1 versus 4. He's going to be getting down quick in 13-2 for the first half. Very one-sided. Just want to point out, Bialy did have a Molotov to check the corner against Snappy, and they could have avoided almost all of that. But I think Virtus.pro just rattled in this first half. I'm not even sure why. We are going to go. Yeah, I mean, they really do. We are going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back after the second half. Stay with us. All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here it's the second half, and we have got Virtus.pro versus Heroic that you're seeing on your screen here. Now it's Virtus.pro instead, just to say that. But yes, very, very good job from Heroic. I mean, I don't want to steal anything away from them. I do think Virtus.pro are in an awkward place, but yeah. Heroic have looked like a really good team for a very long time. Even before they picked up Nico and Yugi, they were looking kind of exciting in S-Tag as well. Like they've had sort of a core thing going on. Even that team looked good. I think even when they had, you know, Freeze and stuff, they were looking like potentially promising team.
Yeah.
Now they've picked up young talent, and this is just, I think, an interesting adventure, Heroic, because they're sort of the third best team in Denmark at some point. But actually, if you look at the gap between these guys and something like North, it actually doesn't seem to be all that much.
Not at all.
Like, I would even wonder in a best of one what would happen if you put Heroic versus Stralis. That could be a really interesting game, because it's so it's so crazy when you've got these best of one situations. For Virtus.pro, things are looking very bad. They are 3 rounds away from being knocked out of this tournament.
Yep.
There's no other way to put it.
Nothing has worked for them. They have tried to throw some interesting strats out there, but when it comes to actually taking the fights, they haven't had any luck whatsoever. No skill, no luck, nothing working for them. The only times where they look like they've got a chance is when Snax is clever enough to get them backstabbed, to backstab Heroic, right, and actually catch people unawares. But if it turns into a straight-up fight where you need to get the entry kill, we just didn't see that at all for Virtus.pro in this T side. They were losing duels left and right, and while, I mean, that speaks to the individual level here from Heroic. Just showing up and getting multi-kills round after round. And so now we're going into the pistol round here for the second half. Countdown has begun, and I'm looking to see what kind of utility we have, because Virtus.pro also blew our minds with that pistol. They had 4 players running full utility, which was nuts. Here, it's a bit more what we're used to seeing. Heroic, it's only Snappy who's gone ahead and invested in the nades.
Well, let's see how this unfolds. There is a pretty big stack on the B bomb site. Only Snax is lurking alone on the other side of the map. Virtus.pro have the manpower they need to hold this drop and plateau crunch. That should be coming in. Pasha in a good corner here. They don't have a Molotov in the pistol to clear him out. He's going to take Aztag, setting up for more headshots, long range. They're just being funneled in. Neo with the kill, and they get shot down immediately. Not this round, Heroic. Virtus.pro back winning a pistol round. That's big news.
You're kind of sad at that point if you're Heroic coming out of drop if you have 1 flash.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, this 1 flash is going to have to be so magnificent that there is no place to hide from it, because otherwise we're going to get 1 tapped, and sure enough, I mean, Pasha played it cleverly as well, hiding from the rest of Plateau. There was just no chance there for Heroic in the pistol. And now we have to see, you know, will VP continue this trend that we've been seeing at this event of teams being able to lock down that second round after the pistol. So that's exactly what VP need right now. They are looking for the money as well. Look at this. Nothing but economy boosters on their side. 2 MP9s, 2 UMPs, and a Swag 7.
Careful now, Snax. Don't want to give them the advantage. Although, this is something that's worth pointing out, Snax is sort of a specialist at playing this whole A-long area. He's incredibly good. We've seen it with pretty much every weapon. I think even notoriously the Mag 7 has been lethal in this position. So I would actually say, if I was Heroic, I would seriously consider not even going there. Just leave Snax alone and fight elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, go for an explosive kind of round onto the B site before the anti-rush nades really get into play for Virtus.pro. They have to be careful here, though, with all these SMGs, man. VP are going to funnel, exactly. They're just going to farm money, and Bialy finds the headshot on Madi. Snax, 1 big spray, gets the second one as well. Yep, sure enough, and that's the bomb delivered to his feet. The rest of Heroic are just going to try and spring on this, see if they can't find a kill somewhere, and sure enough, they do. 2 kills, in fact. But still, the damage is done, and Pasha, you don't want to give Pasha a kill right now. Boom, Snappy, that's a huge one.
Is happening right now. This, I mean, they're in drop. They can't really get out. Why are you jumping in to fight them? Now it's a 2-on-2, and admittedly, Heroic have almost no health, and they also don't have the bomb, so this should still be pretty straightforward in terms of Virtus.pro winning the round, but that, you know, you want this round to be building a tiny bit of confidence, right? You want to come out and say, listen, it's all fine, we're going to make the full comeback, and now you lose 3 players to just pistols. Taz is going to get the last 2 in, but that's kind of unacceptable from Virtus.pro's point of view.
Just getting a bit aggressive there. But Bialy's grinning, and I think as far as VP are concerned, if Bialy's got a smile on his face, things can be looking up. He hasn't exactly had a terrific first half, and they do rely on him to get the headshots.
Is it like you know, good moods kind of grin, or I'm losing my sanity, you know? Like, I'm not sure.
It looked like a chuckle, you know, it looked like a good mood. I mean, definitely, you would have lost it already, but at least you got the start.
Oh, that's better. And no armor, so Snax will go down, but he got a couple of kills in. And again, without the armor for Heroic, this should not be much of a fight at all. I mean, should be a 13-5 scenario here. It's absolutely possible for Virtus.pro to make the comeback, and especially because they have, you know, the double AWP capability if they need it. Yeah. That could be interesting.
There's plenty of options here for VP on the CT side. I'm going to be very curious to see how Heroic approach the 19th round when they're able to buy. What is going to be the call? And Pasha, once again, getting overwhelmed. Not a single kill for him. He hasn't made that shotgun work in 2 rounds running versus anti-ecos. That's frustrating if you're Pasha. And we're into a 3-on-3 now. Shotgun on Nico, MP9, and Snappy's going to be the one picking up the Tech 9. So let's see, can they just overwhelm? They need to just overwhelm somebody quickly here on VP, get onto the site and get the plant. And we'll see if it's possible. Snappy taking the lead, and he's going to run right into Taz. Taz, one of his favorite spots on the map, likes to hold outside of connector, usually does manage to pick up those kills. And sure enough, a very solid recovery there for VP in the end.
I would seriously consider doing a tactical timeout with Virtus.pro right now. Everything rides on this. They've got the double up, they've got everything. Like, I would really try and take a deep breath, because this is... Yeah, if they can't win this round, then Heroic have the money, they start to get close to winning the whole thing. You're going to be economically destroyed as well, because you've been losing too many rifles in the previous rounds. A lot is on this round. Just they have to get this right. There's no other way to put it. They've got Snacks playing alone over here with the AWP, which normally I wouldn't be a fan of. If you've got the AWP on long, you should have someone with you with a rifle that can save you. But it is Snacks, and he does have an uncanny ability to just find kills and escape, so maybe we can allow for a bit of leniency here. He's going to be going back towards long. He could be sandwiched in. Oh, this is very dangerous. That smoke? No, not going to respect it. Nico, that's such smart play. Instantly takes the kill. That's very heads up.
Perfect timing. Taz is still here, and they've managed to push in the meantime all the way up to connector. Madi clotheslining Bialy, and Nico finding a kill of his own. Takes down Taz. That's the A site open for business, but it doesn't even matter. Madi, he's wrecking house. Nearly picks up the third kill. A flawless round here for Heroic. A complete and utter collapse on the defense for VP. And while this is a disaster for VP, they were looking so good to actually come back into this, but now this means Heroic are going to be up on 14 rounds.
Yeah, and even worse is the economy from Virtus.pro's point of view. They've got almost 5,000 on Bialy, and everybody else is more or less sub 2,000, so what a heartbreaking situation. From Snack's point of view, he sees a guy in the middle, just as he unscopes, so he can't get that kill. Then he decides to go back long to throw that smoke. I mean, it's one thing that Nico pushed through, but even then, the guy in the middle that he saw the first time could have been up the stairwell, like the danger stairs at that point in time. He could have just snuffed him there. That's such a big risk, and for very little reward. All that smoke would have done potentially is bought 15 seconds where they couldn't push through, and then, you know, they would have been there anyway. So, man, this is not looking like the Virtus.pro that we all love to see, and one that could maybe make it to the actual stadium event itself. It's looking a lot different at the moment, and maybe Heroic are going to steal it away from them. They got 2 more rounds here, and instead they're going to continue on.
They're taking their time from Heroic side of things. They don't quite know what to expect from VP, how much money they had, considering the SMGs, etc. They know it's got to be pistols, but what kind? Like the Force Buy. Little do they know, they're up against pretty much a hard eco. It's only Pasha who's invested in the 5.7, Bialy with the P250. Everybody else, fairly poor on the weaponry side of things.
Flank from Snacks and Taz, which is great if the rest of Virtus.pro can stay alive on the B-bomb side, which I doubt they can. All the grenades are coming in, and the lack of armor is such a big problem. They check twice, and no one notices. Pasha gets a double kill. What just happened? Heroic have to invest into some contact lenses or something, because this is unbelievable. Modi now in a 1 versus 3, trying to fight on the other side of the smoke, and Virtus.pro. I can't even explain that.
No, Taz has got the op now as well.
I hope we can get a replay of that, because 2 people checked that. Modi with a headshot long range, at least will take down Bialy, and it's still not done. There's 15 seconds. Modi trying for the quad kill to clutch it.
I like that, though. Good use of the nades, but 10 seconds left. He's just going to decide to back off and save his weaponry here.
Why are they not pushing? 4 seconds. They can't put the bomb. Oh, man.
Wait, you get confused?
No, I was just wondering why Modi isn't going for it.
It seems like he wants to save the AK. What's the money like for them right now?
They must have known. That's so confusing to me, because he must have known they don't have armor, right? They've just killed a bunch of people with no armor.
Yeah,
this is the beginning. I realized they flashed the first time, but Nico's...
Yeah, Nico there. That's weird.
Pushing looking straight at him. That's so confusing. No, what I mean is, I realize I said they, but you know, the first couple of kills they get on Heroic, they see that there's no armor, right? That's that's an easy indication if you're on the T side and you're just spraying with the AK. You see, oh, they've got no armor. So all they have to do to win a fight against any of them is hit 1 body shot, and the aim punches they're going to do the rest, right? He had the time the first time, he had like 17 seconds or something. Man, I would have tried to close out the game then if I was Modi.
Now they get a second chance at life, though. You're right. A hard eco win as well for Virtus.pro. You can see the impact that that's had on their economy. Obviously, Pasha has that AWP, managed to save it. But they're going for the double AWP strategy here for VP. Very passive hold from Virtus.pro, although they do have the 4 stacked up on B site. Looks like Heroic going to be taking point. Flashes in. They've got drop control now. Is there going to be any kind of counter push here from Virtus.pro, or are they just going to sit and wait?
They are going to sit and wait. Bialy's holding really close, so it's hard to flash from this particular angle. Flashes are needed, it seems. Nico will be able to open up on Bialy. That's a nice way to get started. And a follow-up kill as well, taking down Taz.
Oh my god.
Snacks and Pasha are left here, and they're just getting overrun on the bomb site. This isn't even a contest, is it?
Total collapse. They haven't taken a single point of damage, Heroic. Not a single point of damage. This is a flawless round for Heroic. 1 shot, 1 kill at a time. Unbelievable. Jeez. And now Snacks. Well, Snacks, I mean, save the op, but it's going to be a battle now. 9 rounds in a row for VP if they want overtime. And their tournament life on the line, no less. This is an unreal, an uncredible. Let's just go ahead and like put the 2 words together. You know, an incredible performance here from Heroic.
Yeah, if you can win around like that, but I mean, this is the problem, right? It seems to just spark absolutely no sort of a comeback. Snacks, yeah.
Where we belong?
This is...
Where Heroic put them?
Yeah, something like that. Very upsetting. I think a lot of people were I certainly was. I think I've said this in interviews and stuff, even going into the match, that this was... I thought this was a temporary thing from VP's point of view. You know, online games, I don't really care about them. I think Virtus.pro don't either. But LAN, a big tournament like this one of the biggest that we have in Counter-Strike, and they just cannot make it work.
It's been busy for VP. You know, it's not to make excuses, but 2 of them have got newborn kids. You know, that's going to make life pretty difficult to actually get a good solid prac in. I mean, you know, Anders.
Yes.
I know, because I worked with you at the time when you had your kid. Definitely know. It does complicate matters.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm wondering if we're seeing that, if that's the impact that we're seeing here for Virtus.pro, if that's why they're looking just this shaky. Sleep
deprivation will do strange things to people, but I mean, yeah, that could be. I don't know. I still expect. I think I expect more out of them. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
I think everybody does. I mean, VP, come on, the caliber of players here.
Definitely very sad, in my opinion. I don't think it'll at all be the end of them, but this should be a massive wake-up call for the Polish side. Like this is where you really need to do something about it. Neo and Bialy pick up a couple of frags here, but to get back into overtime, they need to win the next 9 consecutive rounds, making pretty much no mistakes, because Heroic have definitely shown that they are absolutely tuned into this match. 5 versus 3 in this round, and still 28 seconds left for Heroic to try and turn it around. Going to make the jump down, and that's a nice headshot from Neo, dropping Snappy. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, the chaos there. Neo just eking out the frag. Still 2 players alive on this B site with the quick rotation in from Connector. Nope, Madi attempts the pre-fire. Good idea, and he nearly does pick up the kill on the end from Pasha, but Pasha will be the one to keep VP in this fight. Taz, there we go. Looks like he was just trying to pick up some grenades real quick, not leaving Bialy hanging.
Yeah, you got to get those high fives in, right?
But I mean, that's basically, hey, at least you can get that, right? You know, you can't. It's kind of hard to miss that. Headshots, I get it, but you know, like fist bumps.
I don't know. In esports, people have been notoriously bad at that, so maybe that's where all the practice has gone for Virtus.pro.
Just SG2. It's like, it is possible. You can have secret handshakes to boot.
The current setup for Heroic is pretty common. Nothing out of the ordinary. They are giving up quite a bit of control towards drop and B long, which means if Virtus.pro went for a boost or any kind of aggressive push, which is almost never seen, but if they did, they'd have a big win on their hands. Snacks opening up. That's a strong kill. And taking down Nico of all players. That's going to feel good.
Yeah, that's a good opening. Nico's been doing some real damage. Bialy just hoping that Madi's going to play aggressive. Will eventually find the kill. Madi caught sleeping. Well, also kind of difficult to spot out Bialy there because of the vents and how they're structured. But I mean, this is still a 3-on-5 retake here. Virtus.pro, they got everything they need, and Snacks, sure enough, will find the shot on Snappy as well. And so this is just going to fall apart here for Heroic. It would take incredible headshots. And Yugi's got the deagle, but Neo hits the headshot first. S-tag, though, 1 and 2, but it will eventually line up, and Pasha will find the shot. So 15-8 for Virtus.pro. Anders, to quote the ancient CS maxim, it's one round at a time.
Yes, indeed. We don't have Nato with us, but you're right. One round at a time.
You go back into CS history, it's carved into the wall somewhere. Ancient CS. It's on Aztec. That's where they found it. One round at a time. Took them years to decode it, but then it all made sense.
God, I'm glad we're not playing Aztec competitively anymore. I'm shocked, though, that no one's managed to remake Prodigy, but 24th round is coming in. Nico with a bit of a charge, running actually, and Modi will be able to take the kill, dropping Neo. Pasha with one good reply, and Taz is there to help him up by the rock. Taz with a big double kill. That's going to spawn some sort of confidence here. A third kill for Taz indeed, and he's still got a bit of life left in him. Snappy, the last one left, and sadly Taz runs right into the bullet. Snappy's still locked in here in a 1-on-2. He's got plenty of time, and that smoke, if only he had a flashbang, he could actually, he could have done something. I think maybe flash his way for the smoke, but Bialy picks up the kill. 15-9, Virtus Pro still alive, still fighting, and Heroic, from their point of view, we talked so much about Virtus Pro because we're also disappointed they're not playing better, but honestly, from Heroic's point of view here, now's the time to step it up. Close out the game. Don't let this go on any further. The one thing you don't want to play is overtime against these guys. That would not be a good idea.
No, and it's looking like a bit of the run and gun here. They have the AKs out, full nades, no AWP picked up for Heroic. And the Molotov already going out to try and mess with Snacks just a little bit. And Snacks, he's like, I can play with fire too. Pyromaniacs everywhere in CS. Snacks has got that AWP. And this time, however, Snacks is not holding aggro. Snacks adjusting his game, taking a much more passive position over here at A-Long.
And I don't mind that so much. As long as he doesn't stay there until the smoke is, after the smoke is gone.
Yeah.
Because then he's in a position where you really easily get Molotov. Then he's going to fall back. So
there we go. Yeah, that's a bit of a one-and-done spot, what he was holding.
Heroic setting up. They put that forward smoke in so that they can't easily get sniped. Snacks is jumping on the other side. This is absolute madness. Taz is nowhere nearby to help him. I mean, if he gets flashed or run down or anything like that, or just sprayed through the smoke, it's done. Taz is down in the middle, yeah, so very dangerous. Now he's fallen all the way back, and it seems like he's actually swapping position a bit with Bialy, who's now going to be in the back of the bomb site. So they're playing for the late round here. They want Heroic to fall into that trap of thinking, listen, we cleared out Taz and Snacks, and that's it. There's no one else on the bomb side, and then boom, Bialy's there's Taz going to be going down. Snacks, can he buy time? Only 30 seconds here, Heroic. Don't realize yet, and they don't have any more Molotovs to check the back corner either. It's a shot on Nico doing a lot of damage, and Bialy waiting. He can win this round. Just needs the right angle, and there it is, taking one. The bomb's right in front of him, and he's not going to be able to get that kill. And one more step out, and he would have done it.
Insanity. 3 players on the A site for Virtus Pro, and yet Heroic still managed to just bull their way onto the site. No fear whatsoever. It's all on Pasha now, 1v3. And they've got perfect anti-plant, but well, yeah, there's no anti-retake. There's no retake actually at all. There's no hope left for Pasha and Virtus Pro. They're out of the tournament. That is it. VP have not picked up a single map in this group stage. 0-3 for them. A disaster.
Modi ending on 24 kills with a triple at the end, and I didn't catch Nico before he disconnected exactly how much he had, but overall, just a really, really great game from Heroic. Very impressive, and Virtus Pro trying to build some momentum at the end, trying to see if they could find a way back into it, and they just could not.
Oh man, all of the Polish, I mean, there's the whole Polish cheering section that's going to be here again.
Yeah, they're going to have to find someone else to cheer for.
VP are just not able to make big stages right now. This has not been their year so far.
Absolutely crazy. We will be back with analysis of all of that. I'm sure the analysts will have quite a lot to say about this game as well, and about Virtus Pro in general. We'll, yeah, be back after a quick break. Stay with us.
The reality has struck once again for the Polish side, Virtus Pro. Former titans of Counter-Strike and still names that will always be in that infamous catalogue of legends of Counter-Strike. However, once again, they find themselves eliminated from a tournament, unable to find the stage, unable to find the crowd, and indeed, that Polish corner often a mainstay in the Lanxess Arena. Heroic throw the knockout blow twice in a row as well. I'm not alone, myself Machine, joined by none other than Chad Birchall and Adam Freiberg.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Almost.
Yeah, I know.
Really.
What's the actual pronunciation?
Probably Freiberg. I guess in English, yeah.
Oh, no, we wanted the Swedish one.
Oh, Freiberg.
That's exactly what I said.
Missing a few letters in there, isn't he?
Freiberg.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
anyway, pronunciation aside, how do you say they've done it again in Swedish? Because look at this, Heroic. First in Katowice, they take the home crowd away. Now they take the Lanxess away from Virtus Pro. And rather convincing fashion. Adam, what stands out to you in the Danes doing it again?
I think they had a very good read on how VP were playing. Even though VP, as I said, they have a lot of cards up their sleeves, but they still kind of get read by Heroic. I think Heroic played it perfectly. They had a lot of control in especially drop zone, and VP, they do like to split towards either A or B from just drop zone. So great player, like individual plays from both Heroic and also like team setup, how Heroic
Now,
played.
how were they approaching holding that drop room? Because it's infamous in Counter-Strike to be one of the harder positions to play as a CT.
Yeah, I think they had an extra guy there almost all the time. It felt like they were playing defensively enough on A that they could have another guy in connector. So they were like just two guys focusing more on just the drop zone and still having good setup towards the B long side. So they had a good read on just how VP were executing their strats, and I mean, just individual performance as well. They're having great kills when they went on drop.
A part of that passive setup on A was Yugi, and he is actually, I mean, one of the standout players. Again, prior to this game he was. Again, he finds himself making a huge impact with the AWP. We'll roll some of the fantastic frags he was dropping as we turn to you, Chad, for your observations. A passive A-hold.
To build on what Adam was saying, I think at VP were only able to get 5 opening kills on their T side, right? Which isn't great, because on the T side you want to push the CTs around, make them feel uncomfortable, get that 4v5 advantage, and then be able to work the map from there. The fact they were only able to do that so few a time, and one of them was on an eco, I believe, means that they really weren't having any stake in these rounds, and they were just getting booked time and time again. Yeah. And when you build off the setup that Adam's talking about, where they're giving up, they're not really playing super forward and not giving away those kills. If you're using all your flashes and smokes to take the normal map territory, when you get to the point of wanting to do a map execution or needing to push someone out from behind that truck where we saw those AWP frags going down, you just don't have that in your back pocket, and it's hard to root him out of those positions.
But so surely the argument there is that you, as a CT side, you want to give them some initial aggression. You want to do something to give them the idea that you can do that. You are going to be doing that. Yeah,
and that's how you like change throughout a half, right? So maybe you start doing that early, and then later in the half you drop back, and then they're going to use all their utility to get that area, and you're not even there. So that's when it gets really frustrating. You put it a really good way in the green room, giving VP an A for effort on their strat side of things, because they definitely have strats, and their dry runs have been like the strat runs well. Sure. They're just not making their frags.
Yeah, exactly. I think
overcomplicating things, is that how you describe it, Adam?
I mean, not necessarily either. I think it's just more of like maybe not flashes working properly, maybe, because I mean the CTs were just mowing them down. It felt like every time they attacked, they just got mowed down, right? Yeah. And as I said, it looked great. I mean, just from like a tactical perspective on how VP were executing the rounds, then it felt like they didn't get any kills when they went down. Yeah. When they rushed out A or came down B long or drop, it felt like they were just missing some key opponent, and I don't know if it's confidence, I don't know if it's just more game hours needed to be able to play that, but it's worrisome for the major coming up here.
Yeah, for sure.
No, absolutely, and you can see, you saw the tweet there from Pasha Biceps himself, just tweeting 16th. It's
yeah, actually dead last, first to go out.
Last, first team eliminated from ESL One Cologne is Virtus Pro, the big stage team. A big stage just, you know, meters away from this very desk, and yet they will not be joining us. The poll was eliminated first. I guess now let's kind of, we'll often return to the VP topic, but I think we just put that down. We pick up that heroic ball for a moment and give some credit where credit is due, because this team lost a star player that often our analyst desk would be filled with. Valder is this, Valder is that. He's probably going to get stolen at some point. Well, he sits on the bench for now, and Heroic have done it again. They've faced Virtus Pro and thrived in a rather convincing 16-9 fashion.
And it wasn't even his replacement, you know, getting the frags. It was Nico, Yugi, and Modi, the old dog, you know. And they were just basically grinding out frags across the board, and it's great to see Heroic, you know, another Danish team doing well. And Danish Counter-Strike, I think you can make a fair argument for is the best across the board as a scene at the moment.
I forgot about this round.
Yeah.
This is a round where they shouldn't even have won, right? I mean, they had 1-5-7 on Pasha, and this is like the only corner you should really check when you drop down, especially against an eco, but they don't check it this time. Pasha is standing there, they're getting around, they shouldn't have won, kinda. They win it, and that was kind of like their golden ticket to get back into the match, but I think Heroic were too far ahead. At that point, at this round, so
that was no Kevlar, no nothing against helmets with what was it, a PT50 and a 5.7.
It's
like
normally
those
hard
rounds.
when you
I thought
shoot
those
it in the
rounds
back,
were not like they don't happen.
Check your corner. Check your corners, boys. Come on.
Check your corners. We'll leave that there with Fred. But closing thoughts from you, though, Chad. Not only have we seen Heroic stand vigilant, VP are eliminated. Do we get to see any more from Heroic? Do they make that 2-2? Do we even get to see them in that final affair?
Flip a coin with their opponents, right? So depends. It's going to be very matchup specific.
Around,
I didn't feel like they got bullied. I didn't think it was just a VP weren't doing a general spread and getting map control and making them feel awkward. They were just they were just playing their game, and Heroic were there shooting them, which is the goal of the game, right? Get 5 kills, defuse the bomb.
They did it all. Heroic have got themselves a win and continue to survive so far here in ESL One Cologne. Up next, 2 teams are on the ropes as well. After a marathon of Counter-Strike, Cloud9 have got nothing to show for it. They stand 0-2, and this time they'll be battling none other than the representation of China. Tai Lu are waiting in the wings to go ahead and jump into the server. Another best of 1 is coming up after our break, so do stay tuned, and Game 2 of Day 2 is on its way.